challenges and prospects. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monisa Kadri. Good evening, everybody. I'm honored to be with distinguished panelists. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be with you. As you mentioned, that the title of my talk is Public Relations in the Age of Postmodern Era and Challenges and Prospects. I would like to focus on the topic from 3-4 points and perspectives, starting from the very basic idea and the basic concept, that is what is public relations, and then what is postmodernism and public relations in the age of postmodernism. What does it mean and how it goes with the idea of postmodernism, and what are the challenges faced in the age of postmodernism, and what are the future prospects. So starting from the very idea of what is public relations, I would like to start from the very popular statement that is called the Mexican statement, agreed on by the World Assembly of Public Relations Association. The definition says that public relations is the art and social science of analyzing trends, predicting their consequences, counseling organization leaders, and implementing planned program of action, which will serve both the organization and the public interest. So if we have a comprehensive view of various public relations definitions, the overview will suggest and will come up with some key terms, including organization, management, and publics. Postmodern era has transformed these concepts. As organization structures are changing in terms of technology, size, and scope, new management styles are also emerging, and publics are now fragmented and being replaced by individualism. With the change in basic concepts of public relations, its implications and practices have also changed. The changes are due to postmodernism. Postmodernism era is characterized by no objective reality, no scientific or historical truth, and it rejects concepts of rationality, objectivity, and universal truth. Postmodernism proposes diversity of human experiences, multiplicity of perspectives, and maintains that in contemporary global society, people's identities are chosen and ascribed. We are experiencing this phenomena as we are living in the postmodern society. Our postmodern society is characterized by globalization, hyperreality, fragmented world, consumer society, cultural diversity, and hybridity. And all these factors influence contemporary practices of public relations. In a globalized world, no public relation event is limited to a particular geographical space, or you can say particular geographical locality. So many a times what happens that events influence not only within the geographical location, but go beyond borders within a very short time. Media do not usually report real and truthful events, but blends false and pseudo events, which are not spontaneous, rather planted, planned, and incited. So public relations practices provide constant staple in the form of these pseudo events in the postmodern era. I would like to quote Daniel Bell here. Daniel Bell, he says that in the modern postmodern society, information and knowledge have replaced material forms of production. Public relations activities on the internet provide information and access to cultural resources. As mentioned by Professor Datta as well, that now this is the age of digital public relations. So digital media multiplies the number of affinity groups, people with like-minded interests and common professions across national boundaries. So new media structures have revolutionized some in terms of public relations and in terms of like forecasting trends as well. Postmodern concept accepts that truth is constructed and is considered as a tool that constructs reality. In this scenario, public relations emerges as an approach to construct and promote new identities of the publics. And it does not only construct identities of the publics, rather identities of the organizations. And for example, some certain associations are developed like associations and like cool, classy, rich, stylish, reliable, etc. So these identities are considered being transferred to the people as consumers or publics. So what happens that pseudo events or media events are created with the sole aim of getting media coverage, or rather events are staged in a way that lend themselves to media coverage. So having said that, in postmodern era, objective facts are becoming less influential than emotions and personal beliefs. So public relation practitioners are image merchants. And what do? They manipulate, also manipulate images that consist of signs, images that consist of symbols and constitute culture. So I would like to explain it with an example. Back in 2013, Coca-Cola launched an anti-obesity advertisement, recognizing that sweetened soda and many other foods and drinks have contributed to the obesity epidemic. The company advertised its wide array of calorie-free beverages and encouraged individuals to take responsibility for their own drink choices and weight. So responses to the advertisement were mixed, with many experts calling it misleading and inaccurate in stating the health dangers of soda. So marketing of these drinks is typically aimed directly at children and adolescents. It is also observed that studies funded by the beverage industry are 4 to 8 times more likely to show a finding favorable to industry than independently funded studies. So such findings are promoted through public relations. So confusions increase and audience become more skeptical. In postmodern era, institutions' credibility is also declining, and objective facts are less influential in forming and shaping public opinion. Objectives of public relations, though, in the postmodern era are not different from their predecessors, specifically to promote and enhance image. However, the environment is different. Multiplicity of channels and cyber world spaces have created noise, a kind of noise and clutter. And the challenge is to create a singular, unified message, which is transactional and appealing to the emotions of large fragmented audience. Therefore, business strategy is no longer a mere imitation or simulation or representation of a product, service, or organization. So the contemporary brand strategy is postmodern in nature. And I would like to quote here Jean Baudrillard. He says that it is no longer a question of imitation, nor of reduplication, nor even of parody. It is rather a question of substituting signs of the real for the real itself. A simple tweet now can mobilize the masses and bring about results which would have been inconceivable a few years ago. Emotional appeals that activate personal beliefs are more efficient at winning over public opinion than objective facts. Stating the facts today is not enough. It is now essential to involve the recipients in these facts so that they display their endorsement of endorsement can be with the help of simple click, or they can spread their own liking or disliking through social media. So this will find its way back to the market. I would like to quote the example from Magnum. Magnum launched 2 new ice creams Magnum Pink, Raspberry, and Magnum Black Espresso, and made Pink or Black campaign back in 2013. In their campaign, Magnum emphasized two different moods with these two different tastes. The slogan was different ice creams for different moments. And what mood are you in today? Fruity playfulness and rich sophistication. Magnum says each woman has two different moods and we have different products suitable for their moods. In the worldwide campaign, firstly, Magnum created a poll on Twitter. And the question was, what mood women are in, to raise awareness for new products. After the campaign culminated in asking people to vote to light up a range of iconic landmarks, either pink or black. And what was the aim? The objective was to activate the Magnum Pink and Black campaign in digital and social channels and support the PR campaign by driving excitement and sales around the release of two ice cream flavors. So this campaign was made in big cities like Paris, London, Brussels, Amsterdam, and Lisbon, Hamburg, Vienna, Rome, and even in Istanbul. Magnum Turkey started a poll on Twitter, and it was in 2013. Istanbul witnessed the city turning into pink. And what happened? The event was featured on news. And it was also telecasted on television for 5 hours, 43 minutes as news, and published in 70 different newspapers. And 139 different news were made. And that's how more than 100,000 people watched this event live on Twitter. After this event, there was a 970% increase in the conversation about the brand on social media. So this event reached more than 25 million people, and $1.2 million publication value was obtained. The campaign created a type of woman who is sexy, sophisticated, clever, hardworking, but always well-groomed. So this is not a real woman. They produced a hyper-real woman for Magnum, who is very desirable. After this campaign, Magnum is not selling just an ice cream. It sells prestige, it sells status and values like sophistication, energy, beauty, and pleasure. So products gain meanings outside of their usage and become simulations. So the symbols of emotions, needs, moods, warmth, interest, success, or advantage are attributed to products. So Magnum, that event created simulations in many ways. According to Baudrillard, simulation is not an imitation or a parody. It is a new form of reality in which symbols put display instead of the original. Baudrillard gives the example of the Gulf War as well. He says that the Gulf War did not take place. To him, the war was won by the American Air Force even before it had begun. The images of the war show American pilots pinpointing Iraqi targets from thousands of miles in the air, then bombed them. They took photos and fly back to rearm and return. A technological war created by television and media based on a falsehood. And then there was senseless bombardment, unnecessary loss of life and property, brainwashing, and then self-congratulation over a non-event. So this is happening in postmodern era. Keeping in view this scenario, idea of media as a real virtuality that is advocated by Manuel Castells, implies that media texts are not substitutes for real experiences.
I think we have
Uh,
a network issue.
Am I audible? Actually, there was a network
yes,
issue that dropped. So I would like to conclude here. While concluding, I would like to focus more upon let me put on video. Yes. So I would like to focus more upon challenges and prospects related to public relations in this postmodern world. So talking about challenges, I would like to quote Meke. Meke is the author of Sociodrama, an interpretive theory for the practice of public relations. So what does he say? He says that since media technology today gives us the facts simply as they are presented and have little or no reference to truth, therefore, there can be apprehensions to hold public relations under greater accountability and tighter security. So, and it serves as a challenge. So the other challenge, another challenge is postmodern approach in public relations does not believe in the conventional approach of consensus and symmetry. Rather, it proposes dissensus and dissymmetry, which appears as a challenge. So another challenge can be stated as that whatever is happening today, masses of people receiving the same messages, smaller demystified groups receive and send large amounts of their own imagery to one another. Hence, consensus has now been shattered, which appears as a big challenge to public relations as well. And public relation organizations are now more complex, and public relation officers' roles are emerging as activists, doing more transactional communication with more multitasking skills. Talking about the prospects, so public relations can contribute to grassroots democracy through activism and radical politics. So this prospect is suggested by Daniel Holson. It was suggested in a research article. So to conclude, we can say that a postmodern analysis of public relations offers a new critical approach to public relations theory and practice, and suggests that public relations should be freed from its narrow definition as organizational communication management.